4, 3, 2, mark. It's Inside Thornton, the program series that features topics of and about Thornton Township High School. Inside Thornton is a production of the Thornton Television News Service, the world's longest-running high school TV news service.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Inside Thornton. This is Greg Struss and Ken Smala. And on last week's show, we have to do this first. On last week's show, there was a question asked by me to Lisa Wakeham, who was a guest, on how it was to work with Mrs. Zinel, one of the journalism teachers. We're now going to play back for you that segment on last week's show. Please pay particular attention to Lisa's answer and my remark, and we'll come back in a moment. How is the charming Mrs. Zinel to work with? How is she?
Oh, Mrs. Zinel, she's pregnant. I'm sorry, Mrs. Zinel, but I had to do it.
She's married, I hope. No.
Yes, her second child.
No. Personally, at the time, I thought that was funny, but later on in the day it was played, I heard that Mrs. Zinel did not take it as a joke. To make a long story short, I'm telling you all for my sake and Mrs. Zinel's that she is pregnant and she is married. I'm sorry for causing you, Mrs. Zinel, and the English department, and possibly who knows else, the embarrassment that I might have caused. And thank you for bringing it up. Also, I was at the Jim Jan dance and heard that I made a comment about Thornwood and Thornton losing the game, the football game, to Thornwood, and I made a comment somewhat like that. I heard about it. I'm sorry for that too. We did have a good football team this year. I know it. Everyone else knows it. And just to make that clear, also on future shows we'll have to watch what we say. Which brings us to our guest, who is the man behind the law class here at Thornton. He's on the speech. He is a coach for the speech team this year. He teaches economics and, like I said, law. Just what we're going to world history. Just what we're going to talk about today. Please welcome Mr. David Smith.
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
What is law?
Well, law, of course, is the primarily the order in which man or civilization uses to control either people or used as a method to prevent government from going beyond certain bounds. In this country, we look on law as a protection from government. Our Constitution is based on a premise that government was too powerful and that it must be controlled. We don't want a juggernaut, and that's what the Bill of Rights and so forth is used to protect the individual from the government.
And how is last week we had trouble here, as you just heard. How is libel tried in court?
Okay, libel itself is a civil case between two individuals, and what it stems from is defamation of character, which can either be libel or slander. Libel is the oral defaming of a person's character, where slander is the printed defamation of a person's character. The statement may be true, it could be false. That doesn't matter. As long as you've injured a person's reputation, this is all that it really takes, and you must do it so a third party can hear it. And at that point you have committed either libel if it's oral, or slander if it was a printed.
It's written.
Right.
And what is do you know of one of the worst? Well, how long does a person get for one of these?
Well, you don't get anything except, no, it's a non-prison offense. In a civil case, it is a financial or a performance penalty. If, in a case of libel, you could be sued for an amount of money, damages, or asked to withdraw the statement, making a public apology, which would also have as much airtime or as much printed time as the libelous statement or the slanderous statement that you had made. Therefore, an individual who is shall we say, slandered on page 1 of the Chicago Tribune would have to have a retraction, technically, on page 1 of the Chicago Tribune, though the courts quite often won't enforce that. They'll allow it to be printed on page 37 and, back in the obituaries or something like that. But you must, usually there's a performance. There also can be a monetary damage as well. No prison penalty or anything like that.
Why are such government agencies like the FCC so strict on stuff like this?
Well, I think FCC is strict on it because of the tremendous power that the media has. Both the television and radio have tremendous power in that they reach so many people. A slander of an individual's or a libelous statement injuring this person's character could be very detrimental to that individual, and therefore, since the media is so powerful, they have to be controlled by the government agencies. At least that's what FCC and certain other agencies would have you believe, anyway.
How long is the law course here?
Law course here? Oh, we've had this law course.
Not is semester?
Semester course, yes, semester course.
Are there a lot of people enrolled in it now?
The course, we used to have a great number of sections, but due to the number of required courses and so forth, law is beginning to shrink somewhat. We've got one section this semester. We'll have another one next semester. I'm always looking for good people to come into the course, of course. It's a excellent course. We find many of our people learn a great deal about law. In law education, the whole goal is that when you become involved with the law, which most of us will, either as members of juries or perhaps traffic tickets, you'll have a much better understanding of what's going on and what happens to you and what's being done to you.
Okay, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Greg.
And Mr. David Smith, we'll be back in a moment.
I have a dream this afternoon.
If you think discrimination ended with the civil rights movement, think again. Where do you go when you feel discriminated against? Call the Chicago Conference on Religion and Race at 565-1104.
Okay, we're back here now, and today, as I always like to say, how you been?
Okay. See, I missed one day. Look how much trouble you get in.
Yes, we're not going to talk about it anymore. Anyway, do you remember yearbooks are really fun to look at? I was looking through mine last night and came up with some famous people's pictures, and I came across...
8th grade?
Yeah, I came across yours. Let's see it once. I don't know how far... I don't know how far you can go, and where is he? They're little, but he was big, Probably can't get it. And I'm right over here. That's exciting. Also, let's see, we got another one here. Page 40, where is it? This is interesting. We always pick the most funnest stuff. Let's see. 40.
You'll never know what
okay,
inside
here's a good one. Right on the bottom. There you are trying to play basketball.
Right.
What does it say here? It says, where does a shortstop play? Yes. Okay, that's it for this week of Inside Thornton. This is Greg Struss along with Ken Spala. Thanking you all for watching. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for being on here. Next week we'll be here, and next week's Thanksgiving, so that'll probably be our last show for last week. We'll have a day earlier. Till then, thank you, Mr. Doctor, Ken, David, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.